Alright, this is for the Husqvarna Automower Series 430 and 450. I'm sure probably have the same setup. I've already taken everything apart, so this is going to be a reassembly. The taking everything apart is obviously going to be the exact opposite of this. This is what had happened is the bearings that allow the, I guess, friction disc to spin freely. One of the bearings had frozen up. You know, this actually, one bearing was still looking okay, but the other bearing is, you know, completely froze. So I was getting a fault telling me that the a blade fault error. So if you're getting a blade fault error, you know, check and see that your disc is spinning free, that your friction disc is spinning free of the actual blade disc. So now these bearings, I will have the bearing number in the description. Bought a pack of 8 bearings on Amazon for I think $10. So you need 2 bearings. There is a spacer in between. The bearings were inside this, or are inside this little housing. So essentially what you do, you take a look. This is the orientation of the screws, how the friction disc goes in. So one bearing first. So hopefully this will, I did have to kind of beat the old ones out a little bit. Bearing, and then spacer. And then the next bearing. Push them in there until they seat up against the shoulder on the back. You push it as far as you can with the with your thumb. You'll be able to sort of draw that in with your with the bolt afterwards. So this is the bolt. Oop. This is the bolt that holds everything in. So slide that on. Slide on very nicely. It pretty much just drops into place. Then the Allen head screw in the middle retains everything in there. Give it a good little pull, but not too hard. And then, actually, I did put my screws back in a friction disc because my bearing was so shot that it actually was grabbing onto the shaft a little bit. Normally this thing slides right off real easy, but mine was kind of grabbing on because that bearing had spun on there, and I guess maybe just bit into the material just a smidge. So I'm gonna actually flip my friction disc so this gets nice and shiny from dragging the grass. Every once in a while when I take this thing off, I flip it over 180 degrees, orient this thing so that where did I put my little cap? There it is. And let's see. There. These are Torx head bits. Cross thread that with this power screwdriver. Bite into the old threads again. And spinning nice and free. That should be it. So if you get a blade fault, that's your test. You should be able to spin that nice and free. If when you spin this, it's pulling the blade disc with it, that's probably a good indication. You might have some grass built up underneath here first. Check and see if that's just grass buildup. But if the grass is free and or if it's cleaned out and this thing isn't spinning freely, then it's probably your bearing. Now I do have thousands, probably about 3,000 hours on this before the bearing went bad. But you know, I've heard cases where people have some issues with these bearings. You know, maybe it's running through water a little too much, some water getting in those bearings. So that's it.